Am I, getting as many calls in as I possibly can? Am I doing X, Y, or Z? It becomes a to-do list thing. It becomes an obsession with getting so much done. That's not productivity. Productivity is about maximizing the amount of effort and time you put into the most important things. Hi, everybody. I'm Mark Matthews, psychologist and your certified high-performance coach. Today, we're going to talk about maximizing productivity. I'm so glad that you're here. Go ahead and like this video. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. And let's dive in. Let's talk about what productivity really is, how to cultivate an intentional habit that allows you to maximize productivity over the course of your life, and how to connect with this in a way that's exciting, right? So much about productivity is about judgment. It's about, did I get enough done? Am I 10xing my, habit or routine? Am I, getting as many calls in as I possibly can? Am I doing X, Y, or Z? It becomes a to-do list thing. It becomes an obsession with getting so much done. That's not productivity. Productivity is about maximizing the amount of effort and time you put into the most important things. Productivity is something that applies to all areas of our life. Right? A productive career is one where you actually pour yourself into projects and tasks that are meaningful, that add value, that move the world forward in a positive direction. That's productivity. It's not getting 25 things done on a list. It's getting one or two really important things done. Right? And sometimes we got to do the list. I understand that. But productivity needs to be around prioritization. It needs to come from understanding what really matters most to us. And productivity also applies to relationships. If you're in a relationship with somebody, are you going out and having meaningful connections with them? If you have friends in your life, are you doing something that you both love together? Or are you just sitting around gossiping, talking about what you saw on Facebook, right? Productivity in a relationship is spending time in the activities that actually grow the relationship, that help you feel connected and close. In a romantic relationship or a marriage, productivity is about building a home together or building a life together. It's also about making sure there's space so you can just enjoy each other. That magical connection, that love, productivity is giving space for that to unfold. So today we're going to talk about how do you maximize productivity? What do you got to do? Well, as is the theme with the High Performance Habit series, we're going to pull out the High Performance Planner. And we're going to reflect this week on productivity. We're going to check in. Now, all of the questions I'm going to ask related to productivity, they're below. Go ahead, score yourself 1 to 5, see how you're doing. And we'll just walk through these. What do they mean? How would we know we had a productive week? The first question, did you work on the things that matter most this week? At the beginning of the week, did you have something that you knew, this is what I really need to get done? Or this is what I really need to put effort into? And did you do that? Now look, for a lot of people, this is where that topic of procrastination comes up. I literally know people who have built 6-figure businesses just helping people overcome procrastination. It's a human problem. There's always going to be a little bit of it, right, in your life. It's going to leak in. But it does not need to become a theme in your life. If it's a theme in your life right now, it's really debilitating, right? It's painful when you say at the beginning of the week, I'm going to do X, Y, or Z, and you don't do it. And then you're like, why didn't I do it? What's wrong with me? It's like, nah, you're procrastinating. Your motivation system's a little bit twisted and your clarity's not really there. And you're probably not recruiting the right level of energy that you need. And that's okay, because all of these are skills that you can develop. And you're closer to developing them than you think. If you're at this video already, you're so close to developing these skills. Once you flip the direction, it's really going to make a difference. So with no judgment, just see where you're at. Did you work on the things that matter most this week? Second question, did you progress a major dream or goal this week? This is the question of, are you prioritizing your dreams and your goals that really matter to you? Or are you prioritizing what other people want you to do? This is a huge problem, especially as we get further along in life. So many people ask things of us and we really love to help them. if you're like me, you really, really love to serve people. So you could find yourself spending a whole day just helping other people. But did you progress your dream? Did you really move what matters to you forward in the long scheme, right? Like, you doing that? That's the question. So just see where you're at. How'd you do this week? The third question is, did you avoid distractions well this week? How many times did you pick up your phone and find yourself in a 20-minute social media, binge? Or just even sitting outside and not engaged in things that are recharging you, but just kind of, sitting there I don't know if you've ever done this. I've done this before. We kind of sit there and just do nothing. You're just not engaged. You're kind of aimless. Sometimes that's a distraction. Were you distracted? How'd you do when those distractions came up? Did you have a plan? Did you move past them quickly? Or did you get stuck? Did they derail that day for you? Just a question. Just see where you're at. The fourth question is, did you set intentions before each of your major activities that day? This is huge because people really struggle with taking 1, 2, maybe 5 minutes to set an intention for a huge activity. You ever been on a date? First date? Before that first date, you are just setting intention after intention after intention, right? You're thinking, oh, okay, where are we going to go? What are we going to do? How am I going to show up? What am I going to wear? What am I going to say? What do I not say, right? When you have a date, first date, you are really intentional, usually. Now, some of you might be like, I'm great. I'm going to show up. People are going to love me. It's like, good for you. I've never had that experience. I'm always thinking, what am I going to do, right? But why just stop doing that? When you show up for work, do you set an intention about how you want to be in that day, This goes back to clarity. And it's because it's really important. Do you know what you really want to do or accomplish that day? Do you know how you want to feel while you do it? Do you know who you want to be in those different social activities you have for the day? That's a question. Just ask yourself, 1 to 5. And then the last question, I fully engaged and enjoyed my efforts this week. Did you enjoy your effort? Did you believe what you were doing was meaningful? Was it fun? Were you connected to it because you knew you were bringing about something that mattered to you? Or were you just kind of there, being part of it because you kind of felt you had to, or it's your routine, so you show up and you do, what you think you're supposed to do, but you're not really connected to it? That's the question. Just go ahead and write it down wherever you're at. See where you're at on these scores. Go ahead and put your score below. Let me know. I want to know where you're at in productivity. I'll tell you, for a lot of people, that score is their lowest score in life, even when other things are going great. And if they would just move the needle on that score, if they would just really get intentional, create a productivity plan, just get a few things in place and check in with themselves, they'd be able to move forward so much faster in life. And the reason you want to move forward faster in life is because then you can tackle bigger and better problems. You can encounter things that are better, right? Instead of asking, how do I start a business and, make it, you can say, how do I add value in a really impactful way with my business? Instead of saying, how do I, just make sure this relationship stays together? You could say, how do I bring that next level of vibrancy or that next amazing experience that we'll never forget in that relationship? How do I make that happen? That's the power of being a productive person. When you can get things done, when you can take action, and you can trust yourself that you're going to actually do the things that you want to do in life, that is unbelievable. It's an amazing feeling. It makes you incredibly productive, and it also makes it so that other people can really rely on you. It's an amazing habit. It's how you get a higher level of performance. It's also how you achieve higher levels of happiness and well-being, because you're not so weighed down when you have tasks to do. And so I want to give you an exercise. This is what I use to maximize my productivity daily, and I highly suggest this. I've been using this exercise for at least 5 years consistently. Please do this. It's called block time. And so when you're going to sit down to work on something, here's what I want you to do. Anything you're going to do, sit down, set a timer. I recommend starting with 25 minutes, but once you get going, set it for about 50 minutes. Set that timer and have one main task you're going to work on. For me, I do this when I script a video. When I think about what I'm going to bring to you, what value I'm going to, add to you. I like to create an outline, then I kind of just go off the cuff and tell you everything that I think can serve you. I set that timer for 50 minutes for myself. I click. Now I'm in. That's how I really engage with what I'm doing that day. That's how I get a high score there. And I use that. I call it block time. Taken right from Brendon Burchard's high performance framework. I use that block to really move that forward. Now, here's the key. Here's the way you take this to the next level. In block time, if you struggle with distractions, and that's the big difficulty that you have, here's what I want you to do. I want you to take out a piece of paper. And with that piece of paper, what I want you to do is, I want you to write distractions with a big D right at the top of that piece of paper. And every time you have a distraction, I just want you to write down what it is. And this is productive because what you're doing is you're training your brain to note distractions but not engage them. So just write that down. You're working on your next task. You're doing the thing that's important to you. If you're in school right now, by the way, this is the way to study. And you're sitting there, you're working on the task that matters to you, and all of a sudden you're like, I'm hungry. I really want to eat. That's okay. See if it's time to go eat when you get done with your block, right? But just note it down. I'm hungry. Just note it. When you first start noting, you're probably going to note a lot of things. You're going to see a lot of distractions pop up. What you're going to see happen is if you keep engaging this practice and you stick with it, eventually, all of a sudden those notes are going to get smaller. You're going to get more done in the block, and you start to realize this tool, that is your freaking highway to productivity. Just set the block, just dive in, you'll figure it out. And then you're not stuck there forever. When the block goes off, get up and recharge. Work on your energy habit. Go take a little bit of a walk. Do some breathing. If you're anxious, do some breathing for calm. If you're super tired, take a walk outside, get some light. Even if it's cold, just step out there for a minute. Grab some water, refresh. Then go into your next block or whatever next activity you have planned for the day. Guys, I hope this serves you. I have watched so many, particularly students, have a way better time in school with block time, but also people working on long projects. It's really helpful. So please use these tools. Go ahead, comment down below what your score was. Let me know. What's your score, and what's one thing you'd like to do to maximize productivity after thinking about these 5 questions, after seeing where you're at and checking in with yourself? I want to let you know that I honor you for checking in with yourself and for going through this High Performance Habits series. If you haven't watched the other videos, please go through and watch those, because these are the levers that you can pull to access a way higher quality of life, but also to leverage these skills. Once you build them, you can leverage them to do almost anything you want in life. And so please connect with that. Again, if you haven't liked the video, show some love, show some support for the work I'm putting into these. I love doing this, and I really appreciate that support. That motivates me. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel and keep watching every week. And then share this with someone if you think it'd be useful for them. I appreciate you so much. I love you. I'm so thankful to be here with you. And I'll see you in the next video.